Hello and welcome to Josh Anderson Art. Today I'm continuing in a series of live cartoon drawings from cartoons from my childhood, things I remember growing up. A lot of these, I compiled a big list of the shows that me and my brother used to watch. And actually a lot of the shows on my list, now that I'm looking at it closer, turn out to be shows I didn't really watch that much, but I do remember them being on TV all the time. We probably watched a bit of it. Like Gummy Bears was one of those. I remember it being on every single day, probably more in the 90s, even though I think it was more of an 80s cartoon. And so I don't actually remember the characters, and so I don't have a favorite necessarily because I don't remember, but just kind of looking through the characters, I thought Gusto looks like the most interesting one to do for now. Just to fill you in, what I do every day is I just sketch these out. I have an 8.5 by 11 sketchbook. I'm just gonna sketch it out real quick. I get a loose sketch to get a good thumbnail to start this with, and I go in and tighten up the loose sketch, and then I'll ink it and then color him with color pencil. The biggest challenge to this whole series has been trying to find a good image to draw from, because although you can Google any character and find an image, I'm really wanting to pull these straight out of the cartoon, so doing a screenshot from the show. And so finding a high quality screenshot's always been really hard. Today's was I found it actually an HD compilation of like the entire second season of Gummy Bears, which that's really hard to find. This is a super great find for finding material to draw from. I hope they don't get their channel taken down pretty soon, because Disney seems like they're pretty guarded of their territory, whatever you call it, assets, whatever. Understandably so. Like if you have the copyright to characters, like you don't want them to just be used anyway by anyone. But for what I'm doing, I love to be able to find high res, like HD screenshots of the characters. Apparently the Gummy Bears wore Smurf hats. Something about little woodland creatures like to wear these kind of hats. Looks like a baggy beanie or a slouchy beanie. It would be hip today. I am trying to do these pretty quickly because I'm just doing them on my lunch break, so I got to kind of keep it going, go quickly. And finding the pictures actually is some of the most time-consuming parts of these drawings. Comment and let me know what your favorite Gummy Bears character was, or if you remember watching the show. If you're too young to have watched them, then what kind of cartoons are you into these days? I do a blog called Josh Anderson Art Blog at WordPress. And lately I've been doing posts on my Throwback Thursday, so I dig up drawings from my childhood and stuff because I kept everything. But I'm trying to do like lots of different kinds of posts about different things about my art and stuff. And one of the things I want to do soon is do a post on my thoughts on animation and how it's changed since I was a kid. I'm noticing a lot of people who are into cartoons these days and stuff are younger kids and stuff who are really influenced by anime. Talked about this a lot. There's pluses to anime, but I kind of have a hard time understanding why it's so prevalent, I guess. Like, why is it taken over, really? Like, especially if you go to like deviantart.com, just almost every artist there is trying to do anime. And I just kind of wonder what happened to cartoons like this. It's not anime, but it's just a great show. This one I think was really quality animated too. Like some of my favorite shows from when I was a kid, when I look back on now, were horribly animated, probably because of budget constraints or something. Like Scooby-Doo, terrible animation. And let's go more here. Transformers, one of my all-time favorites. Just the animation is so shoddy. I was kind of thumbing through this episode to try to find a good screenshot, and I have it on mute because I'm not really interested in the actual show at the moment. I'm just trying to get the screenshot. It makes me really interested. I really want to go back and watch these because it looks like a really fun show. I don't remember it very much. I was teasing my son. He's 2 years old. I was teasing him the other day because he was jumping up and down, like bouncing around. And I was like, "You're like a gummy bear." And he's never seen gummy bears. He didn't know what I'm talking about. Maybe it'd be fun to watch it with my 2-year-old. I know he would love it because he just likes anything on TV. Actually, me and my wife are going to try to balance how we raise the kids. We don't want them to be complete couch potatoes, addicted to TV, but it's really easy for kids. Like if you have kids, it's TV or any kind of screen really is a magnet. It gets their attention more than anything. It's like even a newborn, they're crying and screaming for something, and you fed them, and they've had a nap and changed the diaper and done all this stuff, and you feel like you just don't know why they're crying. And nothing works, and you're rocking them and shushing them and all this stuff, and the one thing that will always work is turn on the TV. And that, I think we've done some research that TV, screens are really bad for kids under a year old, or maybe even under 2 years. So we're going to be super careful not to use that unless we absolutely have to. Last resort to put a screen on. Right, I had to kind of guess how his hand goes because in this frame there's a tree branch going right across here. But I think that's good enough for now. It's the light pencil sketch. This is Gusto from Gummy Bears.
Courageous and courage, faithful and friendly, with stories to share. All through the forest, they sing out in chorus, marching along as their song fills the air. Gummy bears, bouncing here and there and everywhere. I mentioned that's beyond compare. They are the gummy bears. Magic and mystery are part of their history, along with the secret of Gummy Bear truths. The legend is growing, they take pride in knowing the fight for what's right is whatever they do. Gummy bears, bouncing here and there and everywhere. I bet you can beyond compare. They are the Gummy Bears. They are the Gummy Bears. Courageous and courage, faithful and friendly, with stories to share. All through the forest, they sing out in chorus, marching along as their song fills the air. Gummy bears, bouncing here and there and everywhere. I mentioned that's beyond compare. They are the Gummy Bears. Magic and mystery are part of their history, along with the secret of Gummy Bear truths. The legend is growing, they take pride in knowing the fight for what's right is whatever they do. Gummy bears, bouncing here and there and everywhere. I bet you can beyond compare. They are the Gummy Bears. They are the Gummy Bears.
I don't know if I was ever the greatest fan of the theme song of this show. I don't know why. Sometimes, for some reason, it seems a little bit childish, and I mean, all these shows are kids shows, but I think it kind of turned me off when I was a teen and stuff because it made me think the show was more of a little bitty kids show. And now looking at it, I don't think it was any more of a kid show than Tailspin or DuckTales or any of the others. Chippendales Rescue Rangers. So this guy, Gusto, like I think this episode that I actually found is the one where they find him. Like all the other gummy bears lived together, but they found him on a different island. Like I said, I'm really curious about this show. I want to go back and watch it and relive what the storylines were and stuff. And for me, like quality animation means a lot. Like I love just the visuals of animation where you can tell they really took their time. Like not just the smoothness of the animation, but just the character development, the detail of the characters. And I just think so much animation today is just really cheap. And I know if you're into that stuff, you're probably tired of me crapping on it, but Adventure Time and that kind of stuff, like it's like nobody cares about quality anymore. I know a certain amount of that style, and like people just like that style. It kind of seems like it started with Ren and Stimpy, just kind of like almost a downturn in quality of animation, and also just the quality of what's happening in the shows. Like, I'll admit I watched Ren and Stimpy and I liked the show as a kid, but looking back on it now, it's just crap. Like the content of that show is just horrible. And I think like there's some shows I'm gonna love to rewatch with my kids, but some of them I'm just not gonna bother with. And I think Ren and Stimpy will probably be one that we don't need to watch. I don't know what it is with some studios, animation studios, writer. I don't know who's actually in charge of stuff, but like, what is their fascination with making things grotesque? And I think they're just trying to be edgy and stuff because they're probably tired of the goody goody cartoons. But I love the innocence of the old cartoons, and it's what's most nostalgic for me. And I don't know, you get enough of the crap out in the world and the movies and stuff out there, like why cartoons is a place to escape all that and sort of go to a land of innocence and fun and stuff, I think. And that's what it's always been for me. And, I mean, I get it, I guess. Like I get the humor of things, like, but it's just, I don't know. To me, it's like pandering to the lowest common denominator. Like toilet humor is when you're too lazy to think about really good jokes. I mean, I will sit and watch Beavis and Butthead with anybody and laugh hard. But in the end, it's like, are the creators, are you really proud of what you put out? You got some good laughs, but you really look back on it, and I don't know, maybe you are. All right, so let this dry for just a second. And I've been scanning these before I color them because I thought about this, and I have like a pretty good little coloring sheet. I can just scan these and print them out for my kids later. And a lot of cartoonists and stuff use non-photo blue here to do that pre-sketch. And I don't really have a lot of experience with non-photo blue. Like, I haven't even tried it. Like, does it not show up on the scanner? Or just copy machines? Okay. Now, if if you will hold tight, listen to the theme song, look at my color pencil, and scan movements.
Courageous and faithful friends with stories to share. All the forest they sing out in chorus, marching along as their song fills the air. Gummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere. I mentioned that beyond compare, they are the gummy bears.
Let's color this guy. Let's make sure the scan's there. Because if it's not, we lose it forever. Okay, it's there.
They sing out in chorus, marching along as their song fills the air. Gummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere. I mentioned that beyond compare, they are the gummy bears. Magic and mystery are part of their history, along with the secret of gummy bear rituals. The legend is growing, they take pride in knowing the fight forwards right in whatever they do. Gummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere. I mentioned that beyond compare, they are the gummy bears. They are the gummy bears.
I mentioned this before. My color pencils are a really cheap Crayola set, so I kind of limited by, I think it's like a 30 pencil set or something. But usually, just using the right combinations, you can get pretty close to most characters. And not just the combinations, but the pressures that you use on the pencils. And I'm not trying to claim that I'm any kind of colored pencil guru at all. Man, there are some people out there who are incredible color pencil, and I'm jealous of their abilities. Like they can do, I mean, you look at their finished work and you think that they must have, this must be a photo or something, or paint, like oil painted or something. But man, it's all they've done is use colored pencil. And these, like I've learned a little bit of colored pencil technique when I was in college in an illustration class, and I would probably do a little better if I had more time. These daily sketches that I'm doing, I'm just trying to whip out kind of quick on my lunch break. Sometimes I go a little longer, but don't tell my boss. And I'd reason with myself that, I could spend more time, but or I don't have the time, so I can either do these drawings quickly or not do them at all. I would rather do them. Let's get another picture of the guy. Like sometimes I gotta Google a second picture so I can find some details or color that I can't see in my screenshot. Like the ring on the toucan's eye. Can't tell what color it is. I think it's like green or maybe like a turquoise. Maybe. I'm also like what I'm doing with these daily drawings is just trying to stay practiced in drawing. Drawing is like a muscle. Art is like a muscle, and if you don't use it and exercise it frequently, start to atrophy, use it or lose it. And there's a passage in the Bible that talks about it's a parable. It's about guys getting money, and like when the king gives it to them to invest, and like when he comes back, like a couple of the guys have made good returns on their money, but one guy decided to just bury his and not do anything with it, and the king was upset with that guy because he just buried his talents and didn't do anything with it. And I think that that actually the word talent comes from that passage in the Bible, if I'm correct. And so I think it's not just money like it's used in that passage, but I think it really means talent that you're given. And like with me with drawing, I think it's like a talent God's given me. And for me to not use it and to let it atrophy is like that guy that buried the talents, and it's not cool. Like God is the king. He's given me the talent, and he wants to see return on his investment. Like he wants me to use that. So I owe it to God and myself to exercise my art muscles, and these daily drawings were me catching myself not having exercised my talents very well. And even just in the time that I've started doing these drawings, I've seen some improvement, which is awesome. Sometimes I get in a weird mindset where I feel like I can't improve. I kind of just feel like, I don't know if there's this kind of a wall or like a plateau that I'm at that I can't get over. It's kind of a silly mindset to be in, because you just have to do it to see that you can get over that wall and improve. It's kind of a weird mindset that I've had even back in school. I remember with like projects and stuff, and I remember there are some classes where we would be assigned something that just seemed really difficult, and I'd see like the other students doing really well at it and just kind of think like, I don't think I can be that good. And which is it's like a defeating mindset. And if you realize like you can do it, just need to practice and try hard at it, you can overcome that sort of a negative mindset. So we are in the middle of September now, and coming up next month is the all famous Inktober, started by Jake Parker. Kind of cool that this guy decided to do something, challenge himself with a daily ink drawing, and it's spread like wildfire through the art community, and now people all over the world take part in this. And just mind-blowing, amazing artists that take part in Inktober. And it's a little intimidating because they're so good. There's so many great artists out there. It makes me feel like a nobody once I start looking through other artists and stuff on Instagram. But I need to remember not to be intimidated, but to actually just use it as inspiration and follow my own advice. Like I always tell people who are like, oh, I wish I could draw like you. And the thing is I think there's a certain amount of talent that God gives to people. And then after that, it's practice. And I think just about anyone can be a pretty good artist if they just practice and keep at it and try and try and try. think the only reason I've ever gotten where I am is because I love to draw so much that I do it all the time. There are periods of time where I slack off, get busy with other stuff, but just doing art every day, drawing, and not just like, everybody can draw like a little flower doodle, but if you draw that same flower doodle every single day, even then, like, you're not gonna really get a lot better. You have to challenge yourself. You have to try to draw things that you don't think you can or that are hard to draw. Try drawing perspective, try drawing landscapes, really detailed things. And when you do that, you actually start to, little bit by little bit, you get better. Just trying every day. And then also have the mindset that you're never too good to learn more. It's kind of a stupid mindset I got into as a kid because people always told me I was such a great artist. I didn't think I needed any help with it, and that's a dumb mindset. I have plenty to learn. What I need to do is set my sights on those people who are way better than me, and then I'll realize I've got a long ways to go. But not a long ways with this guy because he's done. Oops. Tell me what you think. Comment. Tell me about what you remember from Gummy Bears. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.